Well, it didn't take very long for this to happen. There is obviously been a huge passing in just the greater world of music, entertainment, and actually just in the world. Ozzy Osborne sadly passed away recently. Rest in peace to him, and of course, thoughts and prayers go out to the Osborne family. But a degenerate YouTuber by the name of Hes Paranormal literally took mere hours to trend jack this and to try and basically monetize off the fact that this person has sadly passed away. Didn't even give it a day's grace before basically jumping on a little spirit box and trying to talk to the spirit of Ozzy Osbourne. So he uploaded one video which literally came out moments after his passing and before, like when it hit the news. I asked the spirits about Ozzy. If you want an Ozzy session, let me know. Right? And then about 44 minutes ago, he uploaded another video. Wow, I asked the soul of Ozzy if he wants to connect clearly his old voice on Forest Box. #Ozzy. So obviously just trying to trend jack as much as he possibly can off of the unfortunate passing. The family haven't even had a chance to probably get their heads around it, let alone grieve it. And this buffoon is running around with a little spirit box trying to, speak to the spirits of someone that's passed. Now, this is just this is just the way that these people work. I mean, we've also got other paranormal channels, which I wouldn't be surprised if they've also jumped on the trend as well. Let me have a little look. Cody ITC is usually one of them. No, not yet. Oh, Cody ITC is a little bit behind on this one. Okay, so clearly, I wouldn't be surprised if that came at some point soon. But these ITC channels obviously claim that they're able to speak to recently deceased celebrities. They did it with Liam Payne literally shortly after he died. We didn't even know the cause of death for Liam, right? We obviously knew that he fell out of a window, but we didn't know if it was there was malicious intent. We didn't know if it was to take his own life. We didn't know what any of this was, and suddenly these people are throwing out videos like, oh, this is how it happened, this is what happened. I mean, it happened with Pope Francis as well. I mean, Cody ITC, you can see here, Pope Francis video, 67,000 views. Angie Stone, Gene Hackman. These people just prey on celebrity downfalls and trying to catalyze on that for views. Now, Aaron Sagers, who of course is a paranormal journalist and host for, Spooky Nerd, Netflix, 28 Days Haunted, the Travel Channel, and all the rest of it, has chimed in on this. He hasn't named the channel specifically, but reading into it, it's quite obvious who he's talking about. So he stated, okay, I guess as the spooky guy and journalist who has logged his entire career tracking entertainment trends, I have something to say about psychics and mediums attempting to contact Ozzy Osbourne in the afterlife, or trying to blame a doll for an investigator's death. Of course, this is in reference to Dan, who recently passed away, Dan Rivera, who was, of course, the Annabelle handler. I've spoken a lot about that in previous videos, but this is like a thread of comments. So it goes on to state, first up, I love my job and it involves talking to about folklore, history, ghost stories and paranormal theories. What I don't love is how simple people become ghouls, jumping on tragedies and death to further their aims. Of course, this is blatantly in reference to Hes Paranormal. With regards to phenomena, I don't always know what I quote-unquote believe, but I have a lot of ideas, notions, theories. Still, I do know that there are ethics within paranormal exploration. Attempting to contact the spirit of a deceased celebrity within minutes of their death, for instance, is disgusting. It shows a lack of respect for the person and their family unless their family has reached out for assistance. Even if a person doesn't believe in ghosts or the paranormal, it is straight up crass. It's a shame to grab attention for attention. Connecting the death of a paranormal investigator with the theory of a haunted doll is disrespectful to the deceased's family as well. While it might be good for clickbait for articles and social vids, it's lazy. It shows a lack of serious examination into this phenomena and to take a cheap thrill approach. Further, it reduces a person's life to scintillating an element of pop culture legend. Obviously, this is completely within the realms of Dan Rivera, of course, and the whole Annabelle thing. I mean, I covered this recently, and I was absolutely gobsmacked that Zach Bagans, of all people, did an article about it when he met Dan maybe once. And for 90% of the article, he spoke about himself and the doll. And the article was headlined, Zach Bagans tells us about creepy encounter with Annabelle doll just before handler's death. Don't even name Dan Rivera in the article, which just completely degrades him to a degree. You know, it's horrific. Anyway, taking on a tabloid headline approach to a news story about paranormal personalities' attempted murder doesn't serve to inform or share fact. Instead, it's attempted to feed the public's titillation, unless it's done in a serious-minded way as opposed to an ick factor. For that matter, as a point of ethics, reveling in tragedy, throwing around the notion of devils and demons, romanticizing the real-world injustices and brutality experiences by victims. And even going as far as the wholesale make-up violent tales to beef up the investigation. It's irresponsible, insensitive, and speaks to a person's deficiency of character. And sadly, I see it way too many people jumping on this bandwagon to attach themselves to a headline. The pursuit of the strange and unexplained is an odd one, despite captivating humanity for a millennia. And those doing it are a bunch of weirdos. Thankfully, most of us folks I know are cautious, ethical, lovable weirdos, seeking the research and the documents of the stories, and maybe even collect anomalies that might one day lead to quote-unquote proof of the paranormal, or what's out there is revelatory, insightful, and exhilarating and fun. It doesn't have to be vulgar pursuit. As we seek to investigate the mysteries of life and the potential afterlife, let's not abandon our own humanity and become ghoulish. Pursuing the dead doesn't have to mean becoming dead inside. Exploring the possibility of the soul should not require becoming soulless. And the fans and consumers of the paranormal and spooky content, we should reserve the temptation to click the kind of garbage that offers nothing beyond an algorithm-driven cheap thrill. I wholeheartedly agree. You know, I think the fact that Dan Rivera's death was used to further people's, like, just to get someone in a title, for example, Zach Bagans. Literally 90% of the article written with Zach was talking about him and the doll. And then there was a tiny little segment that was like, my thoughts and prayers are with his family at this time. Like, no, that shouldn't have come at the end. That should have been the first thing that was stated. Like, yes, there's a possibility that the article writer, the journalist, whoever wrote it, may have just stitched Zach up in that capacity. But then you click on these articles and the first thing you're greeted with is a photo of Annabelle, the doll. Sometimes it's not even the actual Annabelle doll, the Raggedy Ann doll. It's the made-up one, the porcelain one, for the movies. It's absolute horseshit, and it's disgusting. And then for Huff Paranormal to trend jack off of Aussie Osborne's passing just to try and get himself a few views is cheap, and it's disgusting, and I despise these channels that do this. You know, there's a special place in somewhere very, very not so special for those kinds of people. Anyway, Amy Bruni, of course, you know, she's been very vocal about a lot of this kind of stuff already, has retweeted this, stating, I couldn't have said this better. This aspect of the field is breaking my heart in recent years, and the flack I've gotten for pointing out has been disheartening. Love ghosts, but one of the good ones whilst doing it, please. But be one of the good ones whilst doing it, please. Wholeheartedly agree. You know, I think it's just concerning that this level of degeneracy to try and better yourself, or like not even better yourself, because you're not bettering yourself, you're progressing your career, or at least attempting to progress your career, is actually disheartening. So yeah, I think if you're gonna do it, actually just don't do it. Just don't fucking do it. Like, put out, you know, an rest in peace Ozzy Osbourne or whatever, or whoever it is, like a little tribute. That's fine, you know, because you're showing your support for the family and the loved ones, and you're, you know, commemorating the life of someone who's may have influenced you in some capacity. But don't try and communicate with their fucking spirit through a little shit box for views moments after their passing. You know, it's bad enough people sometimes wait a week But these people wait hours. Literally, they get the news, bang, video's made. They're recording it before the news has even hit mainstream headlines. It's insane. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump to get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.